Welcome to Fix It Home Improvement, covering projects that every homeowner should know and great products for home and garden.
Hi, I'm JC, and this is where we share weekly home improvement tips. I'm here with my co-host, Cindy.
Hello, JC.
Hi, Cindy. This week we're going to talk about air fryers, and we spoke to BlackVue about their dash cams. We'd like to thank Podcast Guru for featuring us on their podcast app, and their app doesn't have any banner ads or ads that you have to click out of. And you can download their podcast app from the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. And it's called Podcast Guru. It's Podcast, capital Guru. We got a couple new 5-star ratings on Apple Podcasts, and no one left a name. So whoever you are, we appreciate it. Convection ovens were developed in the 1940s to cook frozen meals on airplanes, and they used a fan to circulate the hot air in the oven so it heated the meals faster and it eliminated the hot spots on the top of the oven. The Swanson Company took that concept and started selling frozen meals in the 1950s, and they coined the term TV dinner. One of the first commercial air fryers was launched in 2010 by the Philips Company under the air fryer brand. According to Google Trends, the search term air fryer is getting more search requests than Instapot in 2020 and 2021, with what is the best air fryer as the number one search in that category. The Today Show says 10 million air fryers were sold between 2017 and 2019, and according to marketing research, about 40% of U.S. homes in 2020 had an air fryer.
Cool.
An air fryer is a countertop appliance that uses convection heat to cook your food. So it's not really frying your food. It's a small, powerful...
So why is it called an air fryer?
Because you get similar results to deep frying food. The outside of your food is very crispy and brown, and the inside retains the moisture. So you're using very little or no oil to
it's like faux frying?
Yes. So you're going to get the texture of frying. The most common style uses a heating element above the food and a powerful fan or fans to move the hot air down and all around your food. It usually has a basket or a grate to hold the food and allow airflow around and under the food, so your food is cooking evenly and quickly. The two most common styles are a barrel-shaped air fryer with one or two cooking baskets that pull out of the unit, or a toaster oven style with a door that pulls down and then you have grates or a perforated basket for the food. The basket style is primarily just an air fryer, where the toaster oven styles will have other cooking options and generally they're going to hold more food. And you should check out our toaster oven episode.
It was fantastic. Right up there with our toaster episode.
Yes. America's Test Kitchen says air fryers give you similar results to cooking in an oven, plus they're fast, easy, and convenient. Good Housekeeping says about anything you can cook in an oven, you can cook in an air fryer, like chicken breasts, wings and thighs, pork chops, steaks, fish, potatoes, squash, and vegetables.
Exciting.
The disadvantage is you don't have the capacity of a traditional oven. In general, an air fryer with a 2 to 3 quart capacity will cook about 2 servings of chicken or fish with some vegetables. A 3 to 5 quart air fryer can cook 2 to 4 servings of food depending on the style. And large air fryers in the toaster oven style with a couple of racks and larger than 6 quarts will cook 5 or more servings, or it will cook larger food like a whole chicken or a roast. And compare the inside dimensions if you generally cook large items or you want enough room for a pizza or baking dishes. When we looked at a few retailers, the most common sizes were 3 to 6 quarts, or that was the size they had the most choices of. In the air fryer barrel style with the pull-out drawer, we saw a few 7-quart units, and one was an 8-quart fryer with a basket that was 10 inches deep, 10 inches wide, and 5 inches high.
Very exciting.
Yeah, so it's pretty big. In the oven style, you can get much larger capacity.
Right.
Compare the controls and the amount of presets. The manufacturers spend a lot of time cooking popular food, and they have pre-programmed temperature and time settings, and that's going to make it easier to cook food like chicken, fish, or vegetables. Mm-hmm. Compare the accessories that come with the unit. One basket-style air fryer we saw had an 8-inch baking pan, an 8-inch pie pan, 3 types of racks, and a silicone pot holder that was included when you bought it. And some units come with a cookbook, so it's easy to start cooking and learning how to use an air fryer.
Exciting.
Also, think about the outside dimensions and the shape. How much room do you have on your countertop or space to store the air fryer?
Because some of them are pretty big.
Yeah.
And if you have a toaster oven, a toaster, a coffee maker.
Right.
What other episodes have we done about kitchen appliances?
Microwaves?
Yeah.
Blenders.
There's not a lot of counter space left.
Right. You should look at the amp rating when you're comparing similar models. The air fryers we looked at ranged from 1,400 to 1,800 watts. And if you have an older home with a 15 amp circuit in the kitchen, you should only be drawing up to around 1,500 watts to prevent the circuit breaker from tripping or from blowing a fuse if you have a really old home. Mm-hmm. For a 20 amp circuit, you only want to draw about 1,900 watts on that circuit. You should compare the warranties we saw from 6 months to 2 years.
That's a big difference.
Philips has some tips for their air fryers. They say frozen food and snacks can be prepared in the air fryer. It's not necessary to defrost. They say don't use cold-pressed oil on any food. It will burn at high temperatures. And to add oil to French fries, you'd cut the potatoes to the shape you want, soak them in water for 30 minutes, then take them out of the water and dry them off. Put a half a tablespoon of oil in a bowl, put in the potatoes and mix until the potatoes are covered. For meat or food like drumsticks, use a brush or an oil sprayer to apply a thin coat of oil. Do not over-apply oil.
Cool.
The best oils for an air fryer have a high smoke point.
What's that?
So that's the temperature that causes the oil to start smoking. 300.
Well, how would I know that?
Yeah, I didn't know either. I had to look it up.
But I mean, you made it sound like I should know.
Cindy, everyone should know. So 350
I'm
to...
not allowed to swear on this, am I?
No, we don't do explicit. 350 to 400 degrees Fahrenheit is a common cooking temperature for many foods and recipes. Canola oil and vegetable oil have a smoke point of 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Peanut oil, 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Refined coconut oil is 450 degrees Fahrenheit, but extra virgin coconut oil is only 350 degrees Fahrenheit.
Outrageous.
Extra light olive oil is 468 degrees Fahrenheit,
Really?
But extra virgin olive oil is only 375 degrees. So it's interesting how, I mean, you really need to kind of pay attention. Mm-hmm. Avocado oil is 570 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wow.
Ghee, it's Ghee, is 485 degrees Fahrenheit.
What is ghee?
Ghee is clarified butter. This is something else I had to look up. Mm-hmm. It's made by heating butter until the water in the butter evaporates, and then the milk solids are removed. So it leaves a liquid butter fat. And a couple articles I read say it makes an easy oil to work with in an air fryer.
Interesting.
So you want to make sure that the oil you're using is matching the temperature that you're going to be cooking most of your food at.
Uh-huh.
A reusable oil sprayer is an easy way to put a thin coat of oil on your food. So you just fill this and it just sprays on a thin coat of oil.
Yeah, got it.
Some top-rated oil sprayers come from Chef Vantage. It's ChefVantage. Misto, Misto. Norbase, Norbase, and Evo, EVO. I read a couple articles written by chefs on food they thought cooked well in air fryers. One was corn on the cob. So it makes roasted corn on the cob. They say it really tastes good. And you might have to cut the corn in half, depending on the size of your basket.
Right.
And it only takes about 10 minutes. They say baked potatoes take about 30 minutes and turn out really good in an air fryer. And then I looked up some popular foods to cook in an air fryer. Fish and chips are popular. Chicken wings, bacon, steak, chicken breasts, stuffed peppers, donuts, and potato chips. So you can cut potatoes super thin and throw them in an air fryer, and it turns out really good, they say. And you can do the same thing with apples, cutting very thin pieces of apple, and it turns into a really crispy snack. They say it's healthy for kids. I guess everybody.
Now I'm kind of hungry.
In an oven-style air fryer, pizza turns out great, and reheating pizza doesn't turn out soggy like it can in a microwave. In an oven-style air fryer, you can make grilled cheese sandwiches or an apple pie.
Wow.
Some mistakes people make with an air fryer are not following the instructions concerning preheating for certain recipes and certain foods, using too little or too much oil, and overcrowding the food. The key to air frying is not overcrowding the basket because you need that air to move around your food.
Okay.
Many recipes recommend shaking the basket or turning the food halfway through.
Okay.
Reader's Digest has some tips for air fryers. They recommend never putting any food with wet batter into an air fryer because it'll cause a mess. Pre-fried and frozen food with a batter is okay. Thick vegetables and frozen vegetables turn out great in an air fryer, but leafy vegetables like spinach don't cook as well. Whole roasts don't cook well in a basket-style air fryer. You should be using an oven-style. And don't cook cheesy items. It can make a mess in a basket-style air fryer. If you're making something like a grilled cheese sandwich, use an oven-style air fryer.
Okay.
Some common tips that I saw in a few manuals that I read. Do not fill the basket higher than the max line. Do not fill the drawer or basket with oil. The fryer works with hot air circulation. Always use a drip tray when using the air fryer. The parts get extremely hot. Do not immerse the power cord or the housing in water. Prevent water and other liquids from entering your air fryer. Do not cover the air vent while it's in use. Do not place anything on top of or behind the air fryer. And in case of a fire, do not try to extinguish the fire with water. Unplug the appliance and smother it with a damp cloth. Keep 12 inches of space all around the air fryer. If you have small ingredients like French fries, pull out the drawer and shake it halfway through the cooking time.
Right.
In the manuals that I read for maintenance, they all said allow the air fryer to cool off at least 30 minutes because the heating coils get so hot.
Right.
And clean the frying basket or grill racks with hot water and a small amount of soap with a non-abrasive sponge or cloth. If you plan on putting it into a dishwasher, make sure you check that it's dishwasher safe. Clean the inside of the air fryer with a damp, non-abrasive sponge or cloth, and clean the surface with a damp, soft cloth. But check your manual.
Right.
Some top-rated air fryers come from Philips, Philips, Black & Decker, Power XL, and it's just the letter X, the letter L, Cosori, Cosori, Gourmia, Gourmia, Ninja, Ninja, GoWise, it's Go, capital Wise, Dash, Dash, Cuisinart, Cuisinart, and Instant Pot has an air fryer.
Cool.
We spoke to Jeremy from BlackVue about their dash cams. Jeremy, how you doing?
I'm good.
Hey, I was hoping we could learn a little bit about BlackVue and some tips in what to look for in a dash cam.
Of course. BlackVue has been making dash cams since 2009 around. Before that, it was into CCTV systems, and it quickly pivoted towards dash cams. And early on, BlackVue has been one of the first dash cams introducing Wi-Fi, for example, to connect with your smartphone. So you don't need to have a big screen attached to your dash cam hanging on your windshield. In 2015, we were the first dash cam company to launch a cloud service. When we talk about dash cams, I hear a lot of people mentioning, why don't you use your GoPro or, like some action cam? An action cam is not really great for recording in your car. Is that first there's heat. You don't really want to have a GoPro with a big lithium battery hanging in your car all the time, And of course, the other reason is you cannot really leave it in your car when you're away. But a good dash cam is supposed to be set and forget kind of a device where you just set it once and then you just, when you run your car, it's recording. And if you set it up for parking mode as well, it will record as well when you're away from your car. I think that's one of the important aspects of a dash cam as opposed to action cam. Since the beginning, BlackVue has been about making dash cams that are, low profile, something that you can hide pretty much behind your rear view mirror in your car, So when you're driving, you don't actually see the dash cam if it's installed, properly in most cars. The problem with a screen is that, sometimes you have people who are like, oh, I think it's cool to have a screen on my dash cam, but the reality is that the screen is generally used just once when you set it up and then rarely after, Right. And still it's some, big screen hanging there on your windshield. If you want it to be usable, it has to be in your field of view, So that means it's something that's kind of hindering your visibility when you're driving. What we chose to do early on was to have a screenless design where you connect with your smartphone instead. You can see what your dash cam is seeing. You connect with Wi-Fi to download the files to your phone if you need. If you're like in an accident, you can just download the files and send it to your insurance company or show it to the police officer who's there. The need for a screen is pretty overrated, I would say. You have some states, for example, who have laws where they regulate really strictly where you can put something in your car, and if you have a big dash cam that's hanging there, it might be actually against the regulations.
Sure. And with the smartphone technology, you're able to control it and communicate with the dash cam?
BlackVue introduced cloud technology to dash cams like 6 years ago now. And so with that, you're able to connect to your dash cam over the cloud, or you can also just connect directly with your dash cam. What we introduced recently is something called seamless pairing. So what you do is just you open the BlackVue app, and then you wave your hand in front of the dash cam, so not anybody can just connect to your BlackVue, You have to be actually in vicinity of the dash cam, but if someone is bumping into your car when it's parked, the dash cam will recognize that, and thanks to its sensors, and send you a notification. Even better, now with the live event upload feature, then you can have the footage itself automatically stream to the cloud in real time. So even if you have a thief, imagine, trying to break into your car, until the moment he actually disconnects the dash cam, you will have all the footage. A good dash cam should have a parking mode, meaning that when you turn off your car, it will keep recording. So the way you do that is either hardwire the dash cam. You can hardwire our dash cams directly to your fuse box. The dash cam itself includes a voltage monitoring device that will stop the dash cam in case your car's voltage is too low. So at least you can, start your car the next morning. We have two modes. We have time-lapse mode, where it's just gonna turn it into time-lapse, recording a few frames, and then you can have the whole, whatever happened the whole night, for example, okay, in a pretty short clip. Or you can have it monitor as well the movements detected by the camera. And in either mode, you also have this impact detection, which is like when some car bumps into your vehicle or someone tries to break into your vehicle, I don't know, it will detect any vibration and create impact video that starts a few seconds before the actual impact. So you can actually show someone who actually bumped into your car the few seconds before it bumped, so you can have the actual proof.
Are there a few key things that someone should be looking for when they're shopping for a dash cam?
Yeah, actually, that's a good question. When you look for a dash cam, you're going to see dash cams at every price. And sometimes it's hard to, sort out which one is actually going to be good for you. One of the first indicators of a good dash cam is something called a supercapacitor. That's a component that will make sure the dash cam has enough power to turn off without, making any error in the video files. But at the same time, you don't want a dash cam with a, lithium battery or something like that would be a fire hazard in your car when you leave it in the sun. So the supercapacitor is a component that is ready to work in any temperature, like cold or hot. Usually, it's a good first indicator of a good dash cam. The next thing I would say is, of course, parking mode, that as we talked about. If your dash cam, if you invest in a dash cam, you want it to be working for you all the time. So a good parking mode is really something essential, I would say. Then, of course, you have to look for video quality. Maybe you can look for some sample videos online. The point of a dash cam is to record all the time. So you need to have this feature called loop recording, which is now pretty much common, standard for every dash cam. But that's another feature that you definitely want to have, so that the dash cam keeps recording and then rewrite over the older files as the micro SD or whatever video storage you have is full. And that brings me to another point. The dash cams, they keep recording on micro SD cards. So the micro SD card is going to be something important as well. You want to go for something that's going to be high endurance. Generally, the micro SD card that you use in the dash cam should be a little bit more expensive than the cheaper micro SD card that you might use in your phone or some other device. The reason being that the dash cam really records 24/7 almost, and that means a lot of strain put on the dash cam itself, on the micro SD card, I mean.
Is there anything else that makes BlackVue unique?
What makes BlackVue stand out is that we're trying to build this whole ecosystem around the dash cam. So we control not only the hardware, because we have the engineers, in charge of the hardware, but we also have all of the firmware side of things, as well as the software and the cloud service. That's all something that we are doing ourselves. And that's why when you get a BlackVue, you just need to download the BlackVue app, and then you're good to go. We have a support team, global support team. We have many distributors all over the world. So when you want to go for a dashcam brand that you can trust, I guess BlackVue is the way to go.
So Jeremy, if someone wanted to learn more about BlackVue, where would they go?
Oh, well, you just go to blackvue.com. So BlackVue.com.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time, Jeremy. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Daisy. Yeah. Thanks for having us.
That was a great interview.
Yeah, some interesting things to think about if you're shopping for a dash cam.
Do you have anything else to add?
Now that I've learned about air fryers and toaster ovens and how they're not like deep frying, I'm looking forward to doing an episode on deep frying.
Let's wrap this up.
You can subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast app.
If you enjoyed it, please leave us a review.
You can check out our home improvement videos on our YouTube channel, Fix It Home Improvement.
And you can subscribe to that as well.
You can download our ebooks, Home Improvement Solutions, What Every Homeowner Should Know, books 1 through 14, and soon book 15 on Amazon.
If you enjoyed it, please leave us a 5-star rating and review.
You can email us at fixitpodcast@gmail.com. You can follow Cindy on Twitter at fixitcohost, and you can follow us on Instagram, fixithomeimprovement.
Thank you for listening.
Talk to you next week.